what made you excited about doing a mural in this library?
Because libraries are the best. People are so it's the people though, like it's really different. Like I think I noticed the difference a lot because I'm trying to like run a business where I don't really like the money part though, right? That's not the point.
Mhm.
And it's really cool to be somewhere that people have these jobs. It seems like because they really like them. I'm guessing just being in the not commerce world, it's really different. There's not that same pressure on you, I would think. So I just love the community aspect in that, like thinking about what you're giving back is like the priority,
Mhm.
um, can relate to that. And it just feels good to have that be the priority over other things. Yeah. So Dana Walton. I'm from Hudsonville, which is super close to Grand Rapids, where I am now. It's 20-25 minutes away. Um, where should I start? I don't know. I've always kind of known I wanted to do art stuff. I guess that's a good place to start. So I've been trying to figure out how to do that since then, and it's changed a lot over the years. But so I started like a little Etsy when I was about 14, like when I was in high school. Started with a friend, just making dumb, silly stuff, like more crafty. And then eventually went on to I dual enrolled at Kendall when I was still in high school, which kind of helped me take the art stuff more seriously, and like see it as a job thing. It was something that could support me. Um, so that I feel like that really helped me, just being around older people when I was younger. And then I moved downtown when I started going there full time. And then now I've been graduated for 3 years, and now I work out of a shared studio over here on the west side. It's called Dinderbeck. It's a lot of fun. We just like share rent and equipment and utilities, and yeah, it makes this kind of lifestyle possible for a lot of us, because it would be really hard if you didn't have a space to work, and it's like $100 or 100. It's affordable. So yeah, grateful for that. So it all kind of comes from my family. Like I had on my mom's side, we had a lot of farmers, outdoor people in that way, like for, sustenance. And then on my dad's side, his dad was a high school like biology teacher. So I had two people making me think that the outdoors was the coolest thing in the world since I was little. And they just taught me to really pay attention. And then now what I'm interested in drawing is like the parts of nature that don't get so much attention. Like in the like conservation world, people use the term like people only care about charismatic megafauna, right? Like cute like elephants and other adorable things. That's a bad example. There's so many. But yeah, so I'm trying to get some love and attention for everything else, all the fungi and slime molds and insects and larvae, and kind of trying to acknowledge the other, even for the more like charismatic species, like they have a whole life cycle. Like we like to simplify them down to what's most attractive, and I like to try to fill in those gaps for people, I guess.
And so, talking a little bit about the mural that you just did at East Lansing Public Library, can you tell us a little bit about the life that's found in that mural?
Yeah. Okay, so we did with that one. I tried to focus on, because it's going to get that fish tank, we were trying to literally like paint the full picture of just other species that you'd find in the similar places, since they're all so dependent on each other. So we picked, try to work clockwise. In the top right was a big egg mass, and then a wood frog, just because those have been out recently too and really loud. And the nature center by my house, it's really fun to see for kids how they really latch onto that, because they're so loud, you can't miss them. So yeah, that one's kind of trying to reference something people would be familiar with too, to draw them in. And then underneath that, we did a spiny soft-shelled turtle, and then some different seaweed and plants, and then coming around the other side, there's some mussels, which are really, really cool. And I think I didn't know when I was younger and we'd kayak and scoop them up into our boats that I didn't really know they were like living things. So they're really crazy. And then above that, we did a fun crayfish called a paint-handed mud bug, which, yeah, picked partially for its name, and it's just really unique coloring. Just kind of stands out among anything else I've seen. And then above that, we had some macroinvertebrates, which are like insect larvae of larger aquatic bugs. But they're something that's interesting because they're indicators of water quality. Like, people can study them to tell how clean and what condition an area is in. So we made sure the mural's really nice and clean. We even had, I don't know if Eric told you, there was a entomologist, local teacher, professor that stopped by and helped me. He suggested a few more to add just to make it more thorough. Wasn't that fun? Yeah. I think that's everything. So another thing that I'm excited about with this is the opportunity to do this free program for people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's something that I have a hard time with because I like outside of working with libraries or institutions like that, because I want to teach and share ideas, but I can't give away my time. Someday I can, but not quite yet. Maybe once I have somewhere to live. So I think that is really special and like an opportunity I couldn't find other places, so that there's no barriers to people who want to come just nerd out about the same stuff. We can all be together, yeah, with no barriers to that. So even while I was painting, a lot of people asked like how I got started or like if they want to do the same thing. It would be cool maybe to link them up with that. I've done Lansing Art Gallery's Art Path twice. And that's local, and it was one of my first projects that, you know, helped with working up to doing this more often as a job. So I think that would be a cool thing to tell people to just check out if they want to see more public art, but also if they want to get involved. I think that's a really good starting point. They're really helpful to work with.
If you had to describe the East Lansing Public Library in like 3 words, what would they be?
I think welcoming and like just supportive, I guess. Like I just noticed a lot of other interactions going on between people and maybe friendly. Yeah, everybody's so like laid back and like seems like acts like they already know each other if they don't, which I like. Everybody treats each other the same, which is nice. But yeah, I appreciated all the little thoughtful things that Eric and you and everybody helped me, you know, figure out where to stash my stuff when I couldn't be there, and made sure nobody ran off with my ladder or anything crazy.